I'm fired up today. I hope you are too. I hope you're positive today. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling really good about some of the things that are going on. Had a great show yesterday. We talked about wisdom, and I hope you had a chance to check that out. I hope you've been thinking about who maybe could mentor you or what you need to do to create a plan to learn daily. We're talking heart habits this week, and yesterday's The Hunger for Wisdom was really our foundation for the week. Maybe Friday's heart habit is going to be our most important, or at least it's going to be what we would call first among equals. But I think yesterday really is it is the bedrock of the whole thing. If wise people are going to live out everything that we're going to talk about the rest of the week, and today is about positivity. How many times have you been around somebody who's really positive? It's just amazing how it's contagious. I love that. And yet, if you've ever been around a negative leader or a negative family member, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's so hard to stay positive when you're around negative people. I always say it's hard to go to a positive place with negative people. And yet none of us are immune from negativity. It's so easy to let it, just bleed over into our lives. We have these circumstances we don't think we can control. And sometimes we can't. I mean, the things we can't control, we can't control. And yet it's easy to allow our emotions to join our circumstances, I say, and it's like a 2-on-1 game, your emotions and your circumstances. Now you're battling them both. And that's just exhausting to try to live through that. And some of you are going through some really hard stuff right now. And I just would encourage you to keep your attitude on your side. Let you and your attitude battle what you can't change. I mean, the cool thing is you do get to choose your attitude. I love that part. And so I just want to believe today that we can make things better. I know so many leaders who don't think they can make things better. I know so many family members who, you're in a situation right now. I know somebody right now, they're just in a marriage. It's just a mess. And it's amazing what it's doing to them. And obviously it would, but I think the attitude part is it really is all you have to hold on to at times. And I know somebody who's going through some sickness right now. It's amazing. Their attitude's so good. And it's actually, it's helping them deal with it. And they told me it's like, it's made it better because I'm believing that things are going to be better, or I'm going to deal with whatever comes my way. I don't really have a lot of choice in some of this. And so I think this idea to choose optimism is so powerful. It's amazing when we choose to be optimistic. It just makes us more resilient. It makes us more productive. I mean, it makes us more attractive. Have you ever been around somebody who's negative? I don't know very many attractive people who are negative. I mean, very many negative people who are attractive. It's like the people who are positive, they're like magnets. I mean, we want to be with those people. And so I would encourage you today to think about who you're spending time with. And if it's in your family life, you can be a catalyst for the attitude that's there. Now, here's what I've noticed about negativity. If we don't deal with it when it pops up, negativity can just turn into this attitude of criticism. I mean, it can go from negative in one situation to now I'm critical all the time. And I'm not talking about your spouse. I'm talking about you. You may be going, well, I wish my spouse would listen to this. I want you to listen to this. What can you do to be more positive? Because if you're not careful, that negativity will turn to criticism, and then it'll actually move over into cynicism. I mean, it can just be this toxic negativity all the time. And I think we get to a point sometimes, I've seen people get to a point where they move from cynical to skeptical. They just literally don't believe anything will ever change. The world's terrible. Everybody's got a bad motive, and it just, let's lighten up a little bit. It's going to be okay. The world's not coming to an end here in the moment. I mean, we have a chance to really be a catalyst, as I said, for positivity. And so it starts with our attitude. It's so important that we understand that. Now, a couple of things I would encourage you here. I would ask you to think back on times where you've gone through something and ask yourself, when you've had a spirit of optimism, how has that helped you? I mean, am I just making all this up here? Or, I mean, if so, that's fine. I mean, but if you've been positive in the past, it's probably helped you versus, have you ever had a time in the past where you've gone through something and you had a negative attitude and just made it worse? I want you to really think about that today. And then beyond that, let's begin to to make that choice to be optimistic. I mean, and here's the other thing I would say, as I look back on my life and I think about the times where I've messed up, it actually has given me an opportunity to what we would call fail forward. And if you've got a situation in your family life right now where things are not going so well, and or maybe you just had you just feel like there's a failure, something happened, you messed something up, you blew up a conversation, or you were too harsh. Is there a chance for you to adjust, to make a shift in your behavior, maybe to have some remorse and ask somebody to forgive you, and to fail forward, to let this make you better, let this make you more positive moving forward, because the negativity didn't work. It's as I look back on my family life and I think about all the conversations I've had, or many of the conversations I've had, the ones where I was negative, it never led to a positive outcome. Think about that. When have you ever been negative in your approach to someone? Not just in your home life, but you think about work as well. When have you ever been negative and it led to a positive outcome? I don't think that ever happens. And so I would encourage you today to really think about those places where you have failed, and let's make that adjustment and let's fail forward. And, I think experience, they say, is a great teacher. And I always say it's great to learn from your experiences. Yes, but it's better to learn from somebody else's experiences. And when you see people being negative, does it ever turn out to be positive? No, not unless somebody, is remorseful and repentant and there's forgiveness involved. I mean, the initial outcome is never positive when we're negative on the front side. This harsh attitude that we have sometimes, we think it's going to make somebody's going to change. That never motivates anybody. And we say in the Winning Begins at Home book, you're never persuasive when you're abrasive. This mindset that I'm just going to be more harsh and that'll motivate somebody to change, we know that's ridiculous, and yet we do it all the time. It just makes no sense. It's not very wise, by the way, if we go back to yesterday's episode. And then the last thing I would just say, think back on the places where you have won. You've done well. Things have happened the way they should. And what was that positive? I mean, what was the vibe there? And I just think this thing is like, it's whatever whichever side of ourselves we feed. If we feed negativity grows. If we feed positivity, we look back on those places where things have turned out well. It is a positive reminder, and we get to be optimistic. I love the fact that God lets us choose our attitude. It's just, we don't get to choose a lot of stuff. Can't control the weather, but how many people do I know the weather's, sort of cloudy, and then that just makes them cloudy all day in the way they think about things, rather than, it's just a great day to stay inside and have a positive attitude. If it's raining, that's great. I mean, I know so many people that they're just, it just takes one little thing and it will cause their attitude to go south. And I think we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to stay positive. I know for me, when the people in my family are positive, it makes it so much fun to be around them. And when people in my family have been negative in the past, or when I've been negative, it's no fun to be around. So today I wanted to remind us that if we're going to really work on that part below the surface, the iceberg part, as we talked about yesterday, expecting the best is a piece of it. And, there's this, remember back to psychology, maybe you're in school and you studied a little psychology, and remember the old locus of control. There's an external locus of control and there's an internal locus. External is like, it doesn't matter what I do, there's external stuff and it's going to be bad and it's doom and gloom and it's terrible. Internal is I wake up every day believing that my actions actually can affect outcomes. Your attitude and your actions, they really can make things better. And I hope you believe that. If you do, you're going to be a lot more fun to live with. So I hope today you'll practice positivity. It's going to be hard. You're going to have opportunities today to be negative, I promise. But if you'll do everything you can to put on that, that smile, or not even put on the smile, it'll start in your heart. There's an old verse in the Bible that says, above all else, guard your heart. We're talking about heart stuff this week. It says that's where your life comes from. If you're smiling on the inside, it'll come out on the outside. If you're miserable on the inside, I promise that the residue of that will spill over onto your family. and it'll be no fun to be in your family today. So let's make sure we're doing everything we can to expect the best. Positivity, it's contagious. Let's make sure we spread it today. All right, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for more Winning Begins at Home.